a hit, then give him a chunk of some real gangsta funk.
All right, I'd like to welcome y'all back to the 90 Proof Lounge, conversations of the 90s, the golden era, 100% hip hop and G-Funk. I'm Nick Cleve, and tonight we got another legend in the house. One of the pioneers of the Whoop Whoop movement, a soldier for the red team, an all-out OG vet from the 90s, still keeping it cracking to this day. It's my pleasure to welcome G-Len, man. How you doing, bro?
Well, what's happening though?
Oh, it's good, man. It's a pleasure to have you here, bro.
Hey, you got a baby right there. My daughter, go pull baby back a little bit.
How you doing? How you doing?
Oh man.
G-Len and the family. As we always do about this time, we're just gonna get right into it, bro.
All right, like that. Let's go.
So you've done a lot of amazing things in your career, and I just wanted to get into the details about some of the things that you've done and how you got there and what the experience was like for you. So Whoop Whoop, one of my favorite albums, such an amazing album for a lot of people, but I want to go back deeper than that to where it started at. Hell yeah, that's it. And we got it right here. Whoop Whoop. And I wanted to get into how you got to that point. So let's start off with why the hell you want to be a bass head. How did you end up getting in touch with the people to make that album? What was the process like making that little mini album to get to that G-Len Whoop Whoop? What was it like making that project?
I mean, I was just I was in the hood all the time, and all I was seeing was bass heads everywhere. So I mean, whatever you see, I mean, basically whatever I see, I usually try to make a song about it or something like that. I've been doing it for years, so that just came natural. Talking about the smokers out there. But yeah, that was a fun little album. It was cool to do that. It was a little single or whatever. It was cool. I do all my music. Myself. I've been producing my music all myself ever since day one. But it was a cool project though. It did all right.
Yeah, no, it was dope and I loved it. And you could see that it was the beginning of G-Len finding the when you started doing Whoop Whoop, you were real comfortable. You did your thing and you could tell that was like the stems of it, of you just getting into being comfortable with yourself. So when you get into Whoop Whoop, how did you hook up with Real? Because I know when you listen to the album, you had a homie named Ro that introduced you to Real, but how did that, what we like to do here at 90 Proof is paint the picture for us. Let the world know what it was like when you got introduced to Real and you bring him a project like Whoop Whoop. How did that go?
Well, it started like in, what was that, 94? 94, I met Real through Ro, my big homie Ro, and yeah, he hooked me up with him or whatever. Everything was all gravy at first. He was the one that had the cheese, so, he had the cheese. He believed in me. He heard my music and all of that. And he was like, man, we got something here. We could really get this going. We could do an album and all this. So I'm like, well, I was just doing music. I always like doing music. So it's like, we got together, got in the studio. That's when I went to the Black Hole. Went to the Black Hole with Kenny McLeod, my boy Kenny McLeod, and linked up with him. I produced the whole CD, you know what I'm saying? I did that in 9 days. We did it in 9 days. It was a fun CD. I got the homies to come up in there. Everybody came in there. We got legendary B-Brazy up in there. We got Dulo. Man, I got June Dog, the whole, it's a lot of people that's gone right now on that CD. So it's like a classic, it's a classic. My mama was on there, rapping Granny on Neighborhood Watch, but we put it all together. After we put it all together, then Real grabbed it and he put it on all platforms, just put it out there, But the thing about Real, it was I made the Whoop Whoop album, but ended up getting whooped though. You know what I mean? I ended up getting whooped. So, what it was we did a video called not Still Whooping, it was called Whooping. It's on my Whoop Whoop album. We did Whooping, and Whooping came out cool. It was hard. We did the video, but we didn't finish the whole video. So it was like, we had to come back the next day. So he didn't plan on coming back the next day. He wanted us to finish the whole video.
Right.
But all along, I found out that he didn't want to pay the dude. After he gave him, slid him a little, whooped him a little bump check or whatever. Yeah. And that's me break up with Real and turn on that on me. Back then, I was like on some notorious, real gangbang, thing too, so my homies didn't like what he did, so I mean, he knew my reputation and he knew our reputation, so he just like played duck and hide, so
Yeah.
that's what,
And
and
I hear
then
that. And
that's what
with
we didn't do more videos and nothing like that for that.
right, right. And working with Kenny McLeod as we spoke before, we just had Lazy Bone on the show and we were going through all the details about his album and their album, Bones album, and Kenny McLeod actually was a part of doing some big records for them. He did like In the Land of the Heartless. So yeah, as you were said, working with Real, he kind of put the whole thing together for you. And it was crazy because you mentioned Whoopin', which was one of my favorite songs off of Whoop Whoop because it was just it was the way you painted such a good picture of like a hood barbecue. You know what I mean? You got the M's versus the L's and you got your cleats on. Next thing you're taking them off and you're going to the grill. I mean, what was it like when you were making that track? And do you have any stories of being at barbecues and stuff like that back in the day that were like that story that you told on Whoopin'?
Yeah, man, we used to barbecue all the time because back then, I mean, we used to go hood against hood. We used to play football. We was trying to see who was the best in sports. And
Yeah.
them Ashland Park boys though, they was some beasts though. They used to be like really like because they used to play football for teams and shit. We used to just be street ball, but we used to
Yeah.
be crazy. They just knew how to maneuver and make plays, man, and it was crazy. But yeah, we used to play against the mafias, you know what I'm saying? Mafia Lane, used to go at it all the time and, eat good food. That's what it's all about, man. Having a ball, enjoying the homies. You know what I'm saying? It ain't
Yeah.
got a funeral all the time. It ain't got to just everybody get together for a funeral. I mean, we get together, have a ball. Back then it was real cool. It's a little twist now, but back then, homie love though.
Exactly. Which brings me to something that I wanted to bring up about the Whoop Whoop album because B-Brazy ended up being, a huge, huge underground name such as yourself. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, you found B-Brazy. You really put him on before anybody even knew who he was, and he ended up doing a lot of big things. So, I mean, how was it finding B-Brazy, and what was it like, bringing him to the mic and watching him flourish and do his thing?
Well, Braves, I mean, I know him since fifth grade. He was in fifth grade. He used to admire me because he used to see me rapping all the time, and he used to, always just come around me all the time. And then he told me he had rap. I rap, this and that. And, I let him get down or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, he hard. And I liked his voice. I liked his little swag or whatever. And as he
Yeah.
got older, he developed more swag. And I took him to his first studio. I just recognized his talent, and I was like, man, we're gonna take this all the way. And it's like, yeah, I miss him though. I miss him. That was my little protege.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
protege. I don't like is everybody that be, using his name and his slide like this is and all of that and act like they know him and they've been knowing him for years and they know him, but they don't really know him. You ain't got a picture with him. You ain't said nothing to his mama. You ain't helped his mama out. You ain't
Mhm.
did ain't saw his daughter. You ain't, what I'm saying? It's like people be trying to freeload off of Bray's name. And I mean, what it is, it's the real deal is, I mean, if Bray could come back and talk, he'd be saying a whole lot of stuff. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah. And I feel it. I bet he'd be saying a lot of good things about you, man, putting him on. So when he first got on, because he's on Pass the Blunt and he's on Whoop Whoop, were those his first real introductions to doing music? Did you put him on though? And then he kind of took off from there. Was that how it was?
nah, we was doing way before Woo Woo. We was doing other things too. Like I was a DJ, so I always had the little 808 beat drums and all that at the house, the Newmark mixers and the Technic 12s, and I used to be throwing it. You know what I'm saying? And they used to just come over all the time because my house used to be the hangout. Everybody used to come over. Him, 8 Ball, KP, Lil Laniac, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Everybody rest in peace right now. And it's like yeah, man, them were the days, the good old days. But yeah, they was hard. We got the hardest rappers I'm talking about in America. We got the hardest rappers in America. And you
Oh,
gonna see
hell yeah.
a new album coming out. I got 3 albums coming out this year. One of them's called Still Whooping because they want to know what I'm doing. So, hey, want to get a bar?
Yeah, hear that. Play that shit.
I'll just give you a bar real fast. You know, this is the first song on my Still Whooping album. You know what I mean? There you go.
Yo, man, that Whoop Whoop in 95 was the shit, man.
Thanks, homie. Appreciate it.
So what's happening now? Is you still whooping or what's going on?
Huh? What I've been doing now?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed, nigga. I'm still whooping.
G-Len at the beat.
Located where? On Figueroa. Located where? On Figueroa. Located where? On Figueroa. Located where? On Figueroa.
Bringing that funk, you know what I mean? That real funk, that little real gangster shit, bringing it back though, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy with what you were saying too, that I was watching a video like years back when you were getting interviewed on Street TV, I think it was, and you were talking about how like you got shot in 92, I think it was, you were saying, and in that situation you said you know, it was because you were flamed up. And I had also had watched an interview with Mob James. I don't know how familiar with you are with him, Mob James from Death Row. He had said that, and I heard it from BG Knockout as well, that in the LA area it was mostly Crips, and then there was Bloods, and the Bloods, because it was mostly Crips, Mob James was saying if he was driving down the street, all Bloods stick together at that time. Because if he was driving down the street and another Blood was getting into it with somebody, even if he didn't know him, he would jump out, he would help that person. And you were saying in 92, you just being flamed up, you can get shot at. Was that kind of how it was being a Blood in the 90s? Just really having to be about each other just because of the numbers and situations like that? Was that how it was?
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Back in the 90s, you couldn't even, like, it's a lot of Bloods now, they couldn't even bang in the 90s. They wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, they couldn't handle it. Every time we went to school or whatever, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, going to school, it was like, man, it was like 15 Crips to 1 Blood. So you can't be a fake Blood walking out there because you're going to get rat packed or beat up. You got to be ready to take some blows or give some blows or go do some real dirt out there. You know, it was real active back in them days, you know. I mean, I went to Gompers Junior High School, so it's like, you know, Gompers was no joke up there. You know, we were surrounded by the main streets, the Broadways, you know, and it was just lanes. You know, we was belling to school, you know. And every time coming home from school, I mean, we squabbing, you know, And if you couldn't be no buster, you know, out there, like right now, I mean, you know, I don't know, skinny jeans, all that, I don't know. You know what I mean? But, I mean, it's different now, you know, I mean, back then, we was all for one. You know, it was like every together. It was like a unity thing. You know, it ain't really no unity no more. And the reason why it's not unity no more, I'm looking at it as different hoods. You know, I mean, it's like too many cliques in one hood. You know, back then we didn't have no different cliques in one hood. It was one. We was all lanes. We was all, you know, with the hood. That was it. We was all for one for all. But now it's like different little branches and cliques. And when that occurs, then that means, hey, he don't like him. And he lives right over there in the same neighborhood. He don't like him. He lives in the same neighborhood. They learn how you maneuver. They more than worse than enemies because they learn how you maneuver because they in the circle. So it's like, it's easy to get somebody or do a murder or whatever. And nobody ain't telling because it's all in the same circle. I mean, it's like, it's all bad now, you know, but I mean, it could come back.
Absolutely.
You know, it could come, but.
Yeah. And when you were doing Whoop Whoop, and trust me, I've listened to this album back to back so many times, and everything about it is masterpiece material. And when you were doing it, I've had a lot of people, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, a lot of people have told me that Whoop Whoop is like the Blood version of Doggy Style, because Snoop Dogg did Doggy Style basically explaining this is Long Beach. We Crips from Long Beach. This is how we do things. They got the interludes with people, cracking jokes and stuff like that. You did the same thing. You painted how it was on Figaro. Like this is where we're from. This is what we do. This is the colors we wear. You put the interludes that had like exercise and stuff like that. That were the comedy that you added into there. Did you ever ever hear that comparison that you did a masterpiece that was like kind of like a blood version of Doggy Style? Has anyone ever said that to you?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like we the same. Like I came from the same era as Dr. Dre. I used to DJ parties. I used to make mixtapes like back in when Dre used to do it. It used to be me. It used to be Dre making mixtapes. It used to be this cat named DJ Rob. It was this dude named Jigs Capone. He was hard. He was Compton. You know what I'm saying? All of, and DJ Yella, you know what I'm saying? They used to do the Eves After Dark back in the days. I used to be at all of that. Dudos, all of that, before
Right.
it was NWA. I know the real deal. I was way back in the days, man.
Yeah.
Look, my mama, rapping Granny, hey, man, she went against Yo-Yo back in the days. It was Yo-Yo, Salt and Pepper, all of them. They was all in the content. This is a long time ago. This is way back in the 80s. It's like, man, what was it? Probably like 87 or something like that, 86, something like that. Before Salt and Pepper them came out with this, I will push it and all that. Before all of that, it was like a rap contest up there, World on Wheels. My mama got into it. And when she got there, I mean, hey, she won first place over all of them. Over Yo-Yo, everybody else. Yo-Yo, the homegirl, though. She from the hood.
Yeah. And your mom was really doing it too. Like as I said, when we were growing up listening to Whoop Whoop, the track that we played back to back nonstop was Neighborhood Watch. We didn't even know that was your mother at that point. We were like, this shit is so hard. Like he's got rapping Granny on this shit. How was that studio session, man? Like doing Neighborhood Watch. What did that studio session go like with you and your mom's in there? Because honestly, I'm going to say this, and we interview a lot of rappers on here, and I don't think in history there's any rapper that has put his mother on a song and came out that dope. So break down that studio session and what that was like.
Man, it was easy, like easy peasy. Because we used to do like different shows all the time. I mean, that ain't the only time we did a song together. It was like, so it came natural. You know what I'm saying? I was the bad guy all the time, and she's the good girl, and she's not to do it. And she's always the good, positive, and we was on that negative tip, and it was just clashing in. It was fun doing that. I even had my grandmama do the intro before that when she said, "You live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword."
Right.
And Miss Carter, rest in peace. So yeah, it was it was real fun. It was real fun.
Definitely, man. And I got to, and she also got to do a lot of great things too. I was having a lot of fun watching your mother go on to, America's Got Talent, Arsenio Hall. And if you even watch the America's Got Talent, you're right there supporting her. You're right there beside her. And she's even talking about how she kind of got into spitting rhymes while you were doing your DJ thing, man. So good on you, man. And rest in peace to Rapping Granny, man. She had put a huge impact onto hip hop for sure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I really appreciate you even recognizing her, man, and letting me know that,
Oh, we got her. She's up here. You know what I mean? We got her up here, so we good.
Yeah, I see her, man. She's a role model, man.
Yeah.
And I got my little daughter, man, rapping right now. She's 20 years old. Her name is Music. You're gonna hear her. She's gonna be on my Still Whooping album too. I got her as a solo artist on there. I started my own record called Big Music Records. So I'm signing myself. And
there you go. And we've been watching it too, man. And just having, of course, man, you bringing the talent that you brought to the mic, and then having, your family come up under you and doing their thing, man. It's a good thing to see, man. And we've been watching Fig Music for a minute, so that's good.
Hey, you know what? Let me give you a bar of my daughter real fast, little Moo Moo. So
hell yeah,
I'll
do
get
that.
This Still Whooping album too.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Moo Moo though.
Yeah. ACM.
Wavy did that. like I got an ankle bracelet. Pretty and I'm paid, always busy making payments. He's a thought boy looking for a thought box, and I'm looking real spiffy in that drop top. Headed to a destination where it's plenty cash. She ain't even getting paid and still shaking ass. Pussy wet, real wet, like the faucet type. Yo nigga steady checking on me, wanna lay the pipe.
I didn't like that one for I laughed, but
Yo, that shit's hard though, man.
definitely let it roll though.
Hell yeah. And that
Like,
shit,
stay tuned, y'all. I got a whole lot of heaters for y'all.
and they'll be watching out for it for sure, man. Definitely, man. And we appreciate you dropping that on us.
Braids for y'all too. Old braids. I got some old Al Dog, Evil Al Dog. You know what I'm saying? I got old Granny. I got old school stuff. I got all old videos that I'm finna bring out. Finna hit y'all with the kitchen sink.
And that's what people want to see, right? Like a lot of people just wish that kind of 90s flavor that you brought in 95 and continue to bring. People want to see that shit, man, and want to see it continue. So we appreciate you bringing that. I just wanted to touch on some of the people that you were around back in the 90s. So when I was growing up, there was when it came to the underground, it just came to blood rappers in general. There was two that were my favorite, which was yourself and then Lil Hawk. Lil Hawk was just one of those guys that his style was like yours. It's electrifying. It just brings you in. And the only thing that really was like, it just pushed me to the side. I was like, what the hell? It's like, why was there no Lil Hawk, G-Len collaborations that came out that you can hear? Because you joined Damu Riders in the second album, obviously after he had been incarcerated. He's still on the album. I would have loved to hear that, man. What was your relationship like with Lil Hawk, and what is it like still to this day?
And guess what? Surprise! I'll show you what a good boy I've been. Though, for real. I be talking to Lil Hawk all the time on the phone. You know, he got some stuff. He's gonna be on my new album. He's not gonna be on Still Whooping. I might throw him on there because I got some, acapella of him already. So I'm gonna throw him on there, but I'm trying to figure out the right little songs to throw him on. And he'll be out in a minute, you know what I'm saying? He'll be out like next month or something like that. So we've been chopping it up, collaborating, and it's gonna be epic. Trust. He gonna be on like a whole lot of songs. So your dreams gonna come true, bro.
Hell yeah, that's what we want to hear. And what was your relationship like? Were you guys always cool? Like it just did for some reason, obviously you guys just didn't get in the studio to make that cut. You guys have always been homies or whatever?
Yeah, we always been homies, but everybody be, doing their own thing and trying to, sometimes it's hard to, get together and collaborate because everybody's making moves themselves. Yeah. And so, but it's time to pinpoint everything and get it all together while we still breathing this COVID air around here.
Yeah, absolutely. And
we're gonna get together though.
Yeah.
I'm still, relevant. You know what I mean? I'm still rolling the flow. I hear these little youngsters, how they snapping it and popping it and all that. I'm snapping and popping it too. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. And switching up the flows too. And there was one thing I wanted to bring up because I always heard his name. And when I listened to Whoop Whoop before we had ever talked years back, I listened to the album over and over and was like, for the money, it just touched me, man. That song is literally a classic. It has everything that you want in that song to make you feel what you were trying to say. And even with the news footage that you added at the end, I ended up looking into the situation about Shane Willer and the incidents that happened at that time. Can you touch on Lil Laniac? Because I know that he was a big thing for the people, for yourself and the people around you. I watched a documentary actually that was Crab 187, Slob 187 documentary, and B-Brazy and them were mentioning Laniac and stuff like that, and the story that you told through that, like, kind of paint that picture for us a little bit more about what that situation was like for you and how it impacted your life, the passing of Laniac.
Well, basically, you said Lil Laniac at first, but that's Big Laniac we talking about on For the Money.
Okay,
now, he was a beast too, and he was cold on that mic. You know what I'm saying? He was cold on that mic, but Big Laniac, he didn't rap. You know what I'm saying? He was just the homie. He was the homie, he ended up getting caught in a situation. I don't want to talk about that situation, but he ended up caught him in a situation and we ended up losing him. And, it hurt me so bad, I had to make a song about it. certain things I'm making songs about because it's like it just, it just makes me feel a certain type of way. So I have to let it out in music. So I always express myself through music, man. I love making music. I love trying to help the homies, just shine. I love to, I'm a homie dude. I love my homies, man. I love my neighborhood. I love helping people. I love old people. I love little kids. You know what I'm saying? But it's these middle people that I just,
Yeah.
no.
And I hear you. And my bad about mixing it up about the big laniac or whatever. But with what you were saying about how you kind of express yourself through the music, when you listen to For the Money, man, you can't get it confused. You delivered that message loud and clear. The hook is just out of this world. You really painted that picture for people, man. So like, God bless you, man. That track was amazing. And I'm sure if he could tell you that, he would tell you that straight up. He'd be like, that. I felt that shit up there. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. Look, man, I make so much music that I always, every time we talk about something, I got something for you. So check this one out real quick. This one's called, I got 3 albums coming out. This one first is called Still Whooping. Then the next I got coming out is going to show them a whole different side of me. It's called Mr. Lewis. That's my name, my last name, Mr. Lewis. It's showing a grown up dude that's just grown up and doing some grown up stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's still hard songs and this and that. This one is called I Miss You. I made it for everybody, though. Crips, Bloods, Asians, Italians, Black people, white people. Don't matter. Here we go.
DJ Lind at the beat.
Dedicated. We're gonna go worldwide with this one and share this pain together. So many lives lost. So many people I miss. You miss. We miss. They miss. So what we gonna do is take that ride together and reminisce. This one goes to everybody, no segregation, all across the nation, in the situation, from blacks, Asians, Latinos, and Caucasians. We share the same pain, different stripes and abrasions. And when I say share, it's somebody that you missing. Wishing they were here so you could be back with them. Everybody has a wish list for their loved ones who've been dismissed. Losing you, I couldn't picture this. First one on my list is my mama. Miss you, mama. Wish I could still be with you, hug and kiss you, mama. Hear your voice, mama. Eat your food, mama. Give you gifts, mama. Make you smile, mama. I miss my daddy too. Even through them situations you and mom went through, I'm still a part of you. And you, I saw that toughness. It made me try to be tough. When I saw you lifting weights, it made me wanna be buff. I miss you. I miss you.
That shit, man. Unreal, man. Can't wait to hear the rest of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that video on the beach, man.
Gotta do it. Yeah, and big ups on you with that. I just wanted to touch a little bit about I saw a lot of I've been watching you on Instagram doing your thing for quite a while, that we've been kind of having contact with each other and stuff like that. What was your relationship like with Suge? Because I saw a lot of pictures of you guys together, and I feel like back in the 90s, he really had a connection or opened a lot of doors for especially like the blood community that he kind of was a part of or whatever. What was it like? How did you guys meet, and what was your guys' relationship?
Okay, well, Suge was my boy. He was one of the, what he did with Death Row and all of that. But, he was a Pyru, just like King Babalu was a Pyru. The one that sung on For the Money on my song.
Oh, okay.
King Babalu, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the pioneers of the Pyrus.
Oh, okay. That's dope.
But as far as Suge, I met him like maybe in 90 or 2000, and met him in like 2000, like in 2004 or 5, something like that. You know what I mean? And after we met, we just linked up and was always together. I was going to Vegas with him all the time, and we used to go to clubs, squabbling in clubs and all of that. He loved me because we was the same type of we was the same type of people, but. Then again, he was on some business stuff too. But at that time, he wasn't doing no music. So, we was just really homies. You know what I'm saying? Homies.
Yeah.
He knew I was hard. He knew about the music, but he was kind of like going through a whole lot of stuff. So it was like, you know, he was trying to put that on the back burner, and we was just out there, Westwood, Beverly Hills, all of that, and Vegas, back and forth, just having fun, man. You know, just enjoying life.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because when I listened to Whoop Whoop when that came out, man, the first thing that came to my mind was like, how did Suge not pick G-Len up and put him on death row? Because it feels like you did the production, which was amazing. Your lyrics were on point. Your whole image was exactly what Suge wanted to do. You know what I mean? Because I felt like he put DJ Quick on because a lot of the guys that were getting the shine over on death row were Crips. So I know Suge was looking for more of the red team to be a part of that. So I'm surprised that he didn't catch you earlier and put you on the label earlier. It really surprised me.
Yeah. But he if he could go back in time though, he would have did it though, you know.
Oh, I bet he would. I bet.
Things in their life. So it's like you can't knock somebody for not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody goes through things. So I mean, hey, maybe he did have it in mind, but he just had all kind of other stuff cloud his mind.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it. I'm sure a lot of other people would too. So I know that you came into Damu Riders on the second album. You came in there, and from me and you speaking, you had said that you had come up with "How Deep Is Your Hood." That was kind of your. You went to Ronnie Phillips with that and said, "Hey, this is what we want to do," and that they ended up riding with that. How did that happen?
Well, you know, we was short on some songs, and we was trying to fill the album up or whatever. And you know, me, I rap all kind of styles and flavors. You know, I could flip it and all that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like the slow, fast beat. You know, go beat slow and go fast. All that. That was like a little thing that people was doing every now and then back then. But a lot of people didn't know how to do it. Like B-Brazy, that was his first song to get on there and do that. Mm-hmm. But he got up there and killed it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was just talented anyway. But yeah, it was
So yeah, like you were saying about how deep is your hood. What was it like just joining the group? Obviously, Lil Hawk was Lil Hawk already incarcerated by the time that you had joined the group? And what was your relationship like with Green Eyes when you came in? The rest in peace to Green Eyes as well, because he was amazing, high blood pressure, off the hook. And I know you guys must have had a relationship. The world wants to know, what was your relationship with Green Eyes?
That was my boy, I'm telling you. He used to come over all the time. We used to be in the studio. I had a studio in my garage at the time. And he used to come over, and my mama used to say, "Is Green Eyes in there?" Because, she used to always peach cobbler. Green Eyes was crazy about her peach cobbler. Like, man, his mom's in there. I'm thinking he coming over to do some music. He wanted to see what's up with that cobbler over there, though. You know what I mean? That was my boy, though, man. I miss him, too, Green Eyes. Rest in peace.
Yep. Rest in peace. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So coming up in the 90s, you guys were putting out a lot of heat. You, B-Brazy, the Damu Riders, like the whole red team was putting out so much heat in the 90s. But then you see, there's certain few guys that really took off. I mean, you guys did your thing hands down, but at the end of the day, there was guys that really, really took off, such like Mac 10, DJ Quick, guys like that. How did you guys feel about that? Because I remember, and I'm not trying to bring up any negative stuff, but when I was saying, you hear that, Green Eyes, or I think it was a Lil Hawk or whatever, they had mentioned, some they didn't really like how Mac 10 was going about what he was doing. Like, how did you guys feel having a blood that was really coming up and getting that like superstar success? Like, how did you guys feel about that? Was it good or bad, or how did that go?
Well, I can't speak for everybody else. I'm not gonna never speak on somebody else if I don't really know. But me, myself, I was proud of him. You know what I'm saying? I like to see my boy shine. I'm never gonna be a hater, man. I always like to help people. I'm always trying to better what's going on in the situation. We already got a strike against us, living in the ghetto, living on Figueroa. I mean, Figueroa, come on, man. Prostitutes, you know what I'm saying? Gang shootings all the time. I used to stay right on 110th and Figueroa, man, where it really went down. I mean, as a kid, we hear gunshots every night, ducking, sleeping on the floor, just ducking, hoping the bullets don't come through the window. Yeah, man, I done seen it all. I've been through a whole lot of stuff, man, and I'm just blessed to be here. I thank God that I'm still right here and I'm able to maneuver. That's why I'm doing all these albums. I was the dude with the camera. I always was taping everybody. So I got a whole lot of old stuff and I'm just gonna bring it all out. Why hold on to it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, might as well bash them upside the head all year. So starting June 1st, finna bash. Watch though. Had a sledgehammer and start bash.
Can't do it, man. We watching for it, man. I'm excited for it, bro. I've been a fan of yours since I originally heard your music, man. It's top notch shit for real.
Yeah.
And that being said, with Whoop Whoop, it's such a dope album from the start to finish. What was your favorite experiences with that album? What was your favorite songs, your favorite studio sessions, just memorable times? Because when you create an album like that, I used to do music. I know what it's like to create something that good. What was your most memorable moments that you can remember with Whoop Whoop?
Hey, we used to wait for somebody. I mean, we used to wait for somebody to go to sleep, man, and in the studio, you know, whoever dozed off, they gonna get something in their mouth. I don't care what. It's gonna get like, it's gonna get some toothpaste or some old sandwich or something. Just you know what I'm saying? They gonna be chewing on that thing by the time they wake up.
Hell yeah!
Their shoes tied together. When they wake up, they gonna fall and all that. We used to do all of that, man. So it used to be fun up in there, you know. We used to have fun doing that, man. But my favorite song on the whole, you know, album is gotta be Whoop Whoop, man, because it was, you know, Braze, me, you know, Pass the Blunt was fun too. Pass the Blunt, it was fun too. But yeah, that Whoop Whoop was the one though, man. And my favorite verse on Whoop Whoop, Brazy Days killed it too. But I like June Dog, man. June Dog, he came through killing it. He started it off.
Oh yeah.
And he ate that track up, man. I always tell him that, you know. And he's also on my new Still Whooping. I gotta give everybody that's gonna be on there.
Yeah.
Smurf, man. Hey, Papa Smurf is hard. Y'all gonna get a bar of him. We got Mr. T. He's hard, man. Y'all gonna get a bar of him. You're gonna get a bar of June Dog. You already know what he's like. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a bar of Figaro Mont. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna kill him. We got Trey K finna kill it. We got Bumpy Bars. He finna kill it. We got, hey man, the list goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, y'all just stay tuned for it. Be ready, because we finna blast them out. It's gonna be like an adventure. It ain't gonna be a regular album. It's gonna be an adventure. Like I'm gonna take you. I got a Fig up with DJ, all that. He's talking just like DJ Easy. Remember old boy?
Yep.
Yeah. It's gonna be something like that. You know, bringing that back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I love about what you do, man. You keep it real original, real fun, and it's fun to listen to, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, and it was crazy because you were talking about Whoop Whoop, and what I like to do is I know a lot of people that love the Whoop Whoop album and everything that you've done. And I went to a lot of the people that I knew. I said, what was something that you'd want to ask G-Len? He was like, man, they were like, you got to ask him what his favorite verse is. And it's funny because Braze kills it. Everybody on that track kills it. But everybody was thinking that you were going head to head with June Dog, who started it off, and he just kills it from the get-go. But then you end it, that verse that you end it with, I mean, you're swinging left, rights all day until the end of it. And people are like, I don't know, who do you think is the better verse? And I think that you guys just absolutely murdered it. It was fun. And it was like you guys kind of, just like you did with Pass the Blunt, you guys stepped into the studio and it just went back to back to back. You guys just passing the mic to each other, just killing it and having fun. And you can feel the love between all of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing about that, let me give a shout out to my boy Lyrical Lord, though. My boy Lyrical, he's doing the Fig, he's doing the Fig music DJ. He's doing all of that on my stuff. Plus, he's hard. He's got hard rhymes, too. He's on this song called Bob Your Head and a couple of more. So he's hard, too. I want to give a shout out to him. But on the other note, as far as that, you know, competing against each other or whatever, we always took it as that. Like, we listened to the first verse, we listen to somebody else's verse, we like, oh man, you know, in our head, we like, I gotta come hard, you know. So we always was, you know, trying to come harder than each other. And that's why all the pot of gumbo came so delicious, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody wanted to be the one that they said, nah, he was whack. You know what I mean? So, hey, that's what it was, man. We just, you know, I'm telling you, nobody can't mess with this FIG, man. They can't mess with the FIG. And I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna bring it back.
That was one of my favorite shit. When I was growing up, I always stood behind that. I was like, man, I really fuck with the red team that's coming out of Figueroa, man. Like what you guys were doing. You guys came through as a family, and people love to see that shit. People really love to see and have you be able to paint a picture, because I remember one of the my favorite verses that came off of that album was the one when you were on Figure fucking Row. And that when you listen to the last verse on that, I remember watching Menace to Society as a kid. And you remember when Kane and Harold, they go through the party? They walk through the party and they're like giving daps to everybody. They're going from the front to the back. You painted that picture with On Figure fucking Row. You literally going to, yeah, my homie yanked me to the side. You know what I mean? Hit the chronic damn near Earl and shit like that. And you're like, you're painting that picture, still got hose on you and all that shit. The way that you were able to do that, it creates a lot of character in your music. And a lot of people attach themselves to that. And that's what I just wanted to, you know, give you a big ups on that, because even that song was one of my favorites on the album.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was a good. All my songs be like basically, it'd be true. It'd be like experiences that I went through. You know, every now and then I just get to spaz and then just spit. But most of my songs are like, you know, something that I've been through with. You know, I just try to share it with the world in like articulate form. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, it has to be articulate with me. I'm like one of them ones that I can't just say a song and it's just regular the whole time. Like Too Short. Say a song that's regular all the time. He hard. That's my boy too. Too Short. His style forever. But I just, you know, I'm a dude that just keep on. You know, I flip it. I like to flip it, man. I like to find. I'm a wordplay dude. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, you can tell too. Being a part of sort of, I mean, you weren't on the Banging on Waxes or whatever, but it was sort of like Damu Riders was a branch of that. Something that branched out from Banging on Wax starting. And I watched the interview with BG Knockout where he was talking about that it was a dangerous idea to go that way and be dissing each other's enemies and stuff like that. Did you ever have any problems you know, doing the Damu Riders? Did you ever run into more problems than you normally would have with Crips and other people by doing the music that you were doing, or was it just like everyday life like it would normally was?
Man, we ain't talking the 90s. We talking about, look, we talking about right now to this very day. You know, I mean, I walk in the store and somebody like, hey, ain't you G-Len? I mean, I fist balled up immediately, but you know, it's like, that's just a habit. But I'm not for no violence. I ain't trying to do no violence. I ain't promoting no violence. I'm trying to do something cool. Everything I'm doing is positive. I ain't on no negative tip. I love everybody. You know what I'm saying? I know Crips. I know some homies that's Crips. You know what I'm saying? Real individuals, they respect one another. Now, if you are just a knucklehead, you trying to make a name for yourself, that's a different story. A lot of people get their noodle peeled back over that. But me, my guy, the way I'm guiding the whole thing, I'm trying to guide with positivity and trying to help people and trying to sign them, new talent, get them going. And, you know, I mean, hey, that's what I'm about, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about. I gotta keep my mama legacy going. That's what she would want me to do. She ain't here, but she here though. She in here right now. Listen to this little interview.
Absolutely, man. And coming up, like, did you have? Was there any people that you, like I said, in the 90s, it was a lot different, as you said, you know what I mean? There was people like doing the Banging on Wax project. To me, it was one of the best things that you could have done, that they could have done in general, because as Ronnie was saying, when he did the interviews about doing Banging on Wax, the gang conflict was at an all-time high back then. So to be able to put these guys in a studio and be able to have them battle rap each other instead of doing anything physical to each other was just the most brilliant thing to me. How was did Banging on Wax really have an impact on the neighborhoods, and how was it for people getting chosen to be on those albums? Because was there a lot of Bloods and Crips that were really, really trying to get on that album? And I mean, what did it do for the people that weren't on that album? Did it really have a positive influence or a negative influence?
Well, first of all, the Banging on Wax thing came after the Gang Truce. The Gang Truce was the 9 Deuce.
Yeah.
You know, it was 9 Deuce Gang Truce. I mean, you have lanes going to the Grape Street Hood, and everybody playing football with each other, everybody getting along. It was cool for a while. But you got people thinking about their homies that they lost, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. Some people can't take the pressure and they just, you know what I mean? But it was cool, it lasted cool. And then we started doing the little banging on wax thing or whatever. And I mean, it was Crips, Bloods, we was all together. Everybody was chilling. There wasn't no problems, nothing like that, no negativity. Because mainly the people that did get down, they were like reputable. You know what I mean? They was reputable. So it's like, I mean, what they were meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it went cool.
That's good. That's good. Absolutely. So there was when I was going through like your albums and you mentioned you have a lot of homies, you have a lot of support and people that are behind you. So I just wanted to kind of get to know who some of these people are and just wondering if you could do that for me. So if I was to throw some names that you just kind of tell me how those people were in your life and how close they were to you and just who they were as people. I'll start with 8Ball.
Oh my God, man. Come on, man. Don't do me. That's my way, man. He used to always spend the night at my house. Him and Brazy, they used to live down there with me all the time. We used to always, we used to just, it was fun, man. I stayed in the one bedroom on El Segundo and Prairie, man, and they used to come over there and, 222, apartment 222. We used to be making music, clowning, I mean, doing dirt or whatever, running back to my house, shit. Yeah. I mean, it was like, 8Ball though, boy, that boy was something else. He always had some clean shoes. He always stayed fresh and all that. But he ended up, tragically getting hit by a car. He misjudged a car, and happened to be, doing some type of drug that was not supposed to be, I don't like, I mean, I smoke weed. Other people smoke, but everybody smoke weed.
Everybody smoke, yeah.
Though with me, I don't like to see the homies, own anything else. It's just anything that you can't control. I don't like that. But it just so happened that he, indulged for a second or whatever, and he ended up misjudging the car and got hit on 108th and Figueroa, and he fell hard to the ground and ended up, messing his head up and got him paralyzed. He paralyzed and all that, but I still visit him and all of that. It's my boy, man.
I saw you visit him on Instagram. Actually, that's what made me ask. You were still there, throwing it up with them, and you can see. Obviously, I didn't know the details, so you just told me, but you can see that. He had been through something, so that's why I asked you about him because I know he was real close to you. Another cat that I wanted to bring up that you had mentioned, Lazy B.
Lazy B, that's my boy. He's still out there. He lounging, man. He doing good for himself,
Yeah.
He used to always be with me in the studio, though, clowning or whatever. My boy, though.
Hell yeah. So one thing I wanted to touch on too is you just more on the blood thing is in the 90s, it was so, like I said, there was a lot of Crips that were getting a lot of shine or whatever, especially with a label like Death Row. But then you see Suge start to bring other people from different neighborhoods in there, like OFTB, that was from Bounty Hunters, obviously. Was Suge ever trying to reach out to neighborhoods like yours to find artists like that? Is like, I don't know if you had a relationship with OFTB or anything like that, but you sort of started to see him reaching out to people like Sinister. He ended up getting Sinister. His deal, which was from Family Swans, it seemed like he was reaching out to different neighborhoods. Was that something that was kind of going on when you were in the 90s?
Well, in the 90s, we really didn't run into Suge like that, but if we did run into him, he would embrace this or whatever. But as far as OFTB, I did a song with OFTB. We went to the studio. We did it in Hollywood. Did a couple of songs up in there, And I remember that night because when I came home on the freeway, I got my big old 4.4 mag in the trunk, and I got told by the sheriff, so they found that thing, and I ended up had to do a year for that. So yeah,
you ain't gonna forget that one. So again, too, you being a part of Damu Riders and you being a part of, rest in peace again for you. I mean, you've dealt with so many people, man, and you're still here. You're alive. You're in great spirits, man. You're doing your thing, and you've lost a lot of people. And I'm gonna ask about another one of them, Red Rum. Red Rum, I know he was, you had a great relationship with him. So sad to see him go with everything that he's done for the Banging on Wax movement, for being a part of Damu Riders with you. I mean, is there anything that you got to say about the relationship you had with Red Rum?
Man, look, so Red Rum, oh my God. He the one that he shot my Hood Day video. He the one shot it. He shot my video, Fig Freestyle number 10. If you go on Fig Freestyle, G-Len Fig Freestyle 10, he shot that video. That was my boy. He the one taped my mama's funeral. And he taped it and he didn't even charge me nothing. He said, man, I'm doing it for you. And he filmed it and my mama's funeral, he filmed it and he was right there for me when I was really feeling real bad, and that was a helpful dude. He gave my homeboy June Dog his whole studio. He just gave him a studio. He was thoughtful like that. You know what I'm saying? And he loved his kids too. He loved his kids. Love you, Red Rum. I love you. So many homies that's gone, man, and they leaving all these old weirdos around here. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, no, exactly. But we still got guys like you up in here still doing your thing, man. So I want to touch a little bit more on your kids. Them coming up, like, how did they get into music? Did you start off early getting your kids into music and wanting to, showing them your stuff or whatever? I mean, so much time goes by that sometimes they look back on the music and they're like, the music has changed so much. So how did you get your kids into music, or did they get themselves into it? Like, how did that work?
Well, I got 2 generations of kids. You know what I'm saying? It's like, first of all, it's my son Poppy. I mean, I got a couple of more kids as far as music, whatever. She's, you just heard her. And Poppy got his own thing going on. I can explain that, what he's got going on, but I will touch on my little kids first. I got an 8 and a 9-year-old, you know what I'm saying? And they in there, but they smart. I make sure they in school. I make sure they do their work, pass every test. You know what I'm saying? They are scholars in school, you know what I'm saying? So they're doing real good, you know what I mean? And I try to move my daughter. She's a producer. I have her in here and I have her. She knows how to make a beat and make a song by herself. And she only 8, So I'm teaching them early so that later on, it's gonna be so easy for them, Now, as far as my other son, which is Poppy, PB to go, we got this, thing going on as far as this wave pomade. We started off with the wave pomade, and now we got like 5 to 6 different products, maybe like 8 now or whatever. And these are the products that he's selling. So y'all can go to pb2gomerch.com, and he's got it all. He got can you see it?
Yep.
pb2gomerch.com.
Well, there you go.
The bomb goat drip, the famous goat drip everybody's wearing, everybody's using.
Yeah.
Rich homie it. Lance Stevenson uses it. You know what I'm saying? They all use it. He just came out with this deodorant right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't stop. Got the brushes right here.
Oh, damn.
The good ones though. The good ones for
the whole kit.
And we got this song called Seasick. It'll be out in a minute too. We're gonna do a video to it. So what's up, Poppy? Giving you a shout out too, man. We gotta get this bread, man. Oh
yeah, man. All the subscribers out there, man, gotta get you some of that. Definitely, man. And it's
gomerch.com. Go to it. He'll give you a real it's a lot of good deals and a lot of good products on there. So make sure y'all check it out.
Absolutely. So there's a couple more things I want to touch on is real quick is you see I want to take it way back. So way back is in, just before the 90s, 88, 89. You look at the movies that come out and you see Colors. Colors was really the first movie to come out and kind of paint the picture for the rest of the world who didn't live in LA, what it was like in LA. how accurate was that movie to how you guys were living from 88 to even 95 around? Was it pretty accurate how that picture was painted?
Well, it was as far as the police or whatever, it was accurate and all that, but you know, well, yeah, it was shot over there on 113th and Broadway in Maine or whatever, over there, that little area. It was an active area and all of that. I mean, it was as good as it could be at that time, as real as it could be at that time, in that moment. It was kind of, but you know, it was a couple fake parts in there, but
Of course. You got the Hollywood.
it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'll watch Colors right now. You know,
Yeah. I might watch that shit after I talk. We finish this up. And when it came to B-Brazy, like you said, you're all about creativity. And I feel like, you being involved with Damu Riders, knowing B-Brazy early on, that you really brought out creativity in people. When it comes down to How Deep Is Your Hood, you came out with the name, you start the song off. It's really the first song you ever hear B-Brazy kind of singing. You know what I mean? And he kind of stepped out of what he was doing because he's on the hook, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so he's on the hook,
No. Look, on How Deep Is Your Hood, it's not Braze singing.
that's not Braze.
That's Braze's relative named Verse.
Damn, everyone I talked to thinking that was Braze on there. I was talking to people like, it's Braze's first time singing.
Yeah, versatile. But he used to kill it though. How deep is your hood? Yeah.
Yeah, he killed that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, G, man, I really appreciate you coming through the 90 Proof Lounge, man. It's been blessing us with these conversations, letting us know how it all goes down, man. We appreciate you. I'd love to have you on again and just bless us with more conversations, man. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming through here.
Oh man, it's all gravy, man. It's my pleasure. And I'm gonna hit y'all with one more before I roll. You know what I'm saying? And this one, on all my CDs and all my tapes. Every CD I have coming out is going to always have an instrumental track on it, right?
Perfect.
It's like, because when people get caught in traffic jams or whatever, this is like traffic jam music. So I produced this too right here, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you a small bar of it. This is nothing like, melodies or whatever. Some of that G-Len feel,
Hard.
So y'all pick it up.
Yo, that shit is hard.
So y'all pick it up, man. June 18th. It's coming out on my birthday, June 18th. You know what I'm saying? We doing it for you, mama. Yeah. So it's gonna be on all platforms. So make sure y'all grab that thing. And you get a free one, bro.
I appreciate it, bro. We'll definitely be looking out for that, man. And as I said, we really appreciate you coming through the 90 Proof Lounge. We got to have you on again for more stories, man. You're a legend, bro. Seriously, doing it from the 90s, still keeping it cracking. Keep doing your thing, man. It's much love.
Much love.
All right, bro.
Music, y'all. Big music.
We out, man. 90 Proof got love, bro. Later.